Hello and welcome to Devil Hearts Podcast. Today we are going over the 8 Immortals restaurant murders. In this case, this trigger warning is kind of long, so just be prepared. This episode discusses homicide, family violence, and a historical criminal investigation. While this episode avoids unnecessary graphic descriptions, some listeners and watchers may still find the subject matter disturbing. Listener and watcher discretion is advised. Intro. Hello everyone and welcome back to Devil Hearts Podcast. If you are new here, I am so glad you're joining us. My name is Harper. I have two other lovely co-hosts and their name is Corwin and Evelyn. But you can call her Eva. And if you have any questions, you can email all lowercase devilheartspodcast@gmail.com if you have any questions, or you can just comment down below. And this is another episode of our Asian True Crime chapter where we explore some of the most well-known and sometimes lesser-known criminal cases across Asia. Today's case takes us to Makuyu, I don't know, something like that, where an entire family vanished almost overnight. What begins as a missing persons investigation soon became one of the most infamous criminal cases in East Asian history. Over the years, rumors, movies, and urban legends have blurred the truth, making it difficult to separate facts from fiction. Today, we are looking over the verified history behind the 8 Immortals restaurant murders. So, let's begin. Background. In the mid-1980s, Macaru was still under Portuguese administration, long before its modern casino boom. It was a bustling port city where restaurants, markets, and family-run businesses played an important role in everyday life. One of these businesses was 8 Immortals Restaurant, a well-known Chinese restaurant in the Laohan district. The restaurant was owned by Zhong Lin, who had worked hard to build his business after starting as a street vendor years earlier. Alongside him, his wife Chen Xiaoyi, and together with other relatives, they operated the restaurant as a family business. To many customers, it wasn't just a place to eat; it was a familiar part of the neighborhood. Nothing about the restaurant suggested that it would one day be one of the center of most of something like that, most well-known criminal investigation, the Zhang family. The victims included Zhang Lin, the restaurant owner, his wife Chen Xiaoyi, their 5 children, Chen Xiaoyi's mother, another female relative, and then Zhang Lin's older cousin who worked as the restaurant chef. You know, I'm gonna say like a spoiler alert. I wonder if his brother realized that, actually, never mind. In total, 10 members of the extended family lost their lives. While discussing this case, it's important to remember that these were real people with lives, dreams, and loved ones, not simply names in a headline. Huan Zihen. Investigators eventually identified Huan Zihen as a person responsible. Before arriving in I cannot say this word. Sean had lived in mainland China and Hong Kong. Historical records later connected him to an earlier homicide in Hong Kong in 1973, although investigators did not discover that the information until after his death. According to his later confession, a dispute involving gambling debts led to a confrontation confrontation with the Zhang family. The disappearance. On August 4th, 1985, the restaurant appeared to be operating as normal. Soon after, suppliers and customers noticed something unusual. The restaurant was unexpectedly closed with a handwritten notice stating that it would remain shut for several days. When people asked where the family had gone, Hyung reportedly told them they have traveled to mainland China. At first, there was little reason for anyone to suspect that something far more serious had happened. Discovery. Days later, human remains were discovered along Haksa Beach, I think is the title. I don't know. As dude, hold up. Oh my gosh, there's so much more. As forensic examinations continued, investigators determined that the remains were connected to a major criminal investigation. Additional evidence recovered over time eventually led to authorities in concluding that the missing Zen family had become victims of a mass homicide. The case quickly became one of the largest investigations in Makaru's history. Investigation. Police gradually focused on the attention on Juan after noticing inconsistencies, I think, in his statements. Authorities also discovered that he possessed identification documents and other property belongings to the member of the Zen family. As investigators gathered additional evidence, Juan attempted to leave Makaru. He was arrested on September 28, 1986. The investigation involved police officers, forensic specialists, and medical professionals, and many others who spent months carefully piecing together the evidence. Mid-episode appreciation. Before we continue, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the people whose work helped preserve the truth behind the cases like this. First, thank you to the investigators, forensic specialists, medical examiners, police officers, journalists, court officials, translators, historians, and archivists who worked on the case. The dedication helped uncover the truth and preserve the historical records so future generations could learn what happened. I'd also like to recognize the documentary filmmakers, authors, and responsible true crime creators who have spent countless hours researching this case and presenting it thoughtfully. A special thank you to Stephanie Sue and Rotten Mango, which is like the same person. Stephanie Sue owns the podcast Rotten Mango, so thank you to her for introducing many people to lesser known Asian true crime cases through detailed research and compassionate storytelling. Thank you as well to Coffee House Crime for respectful, fact-based approach, and Explore With Us EWU for encouraging viewers to think critically about investigations and evidence. Most importantly, thank you to every researcher, journalist, translator, historian, and investigators whose work had helped separate verified facts from rumor. And thank you for all who's listening or watching, choosing to learn about these cases with empathy and respect. Empathy and respect helps ensure the victims are remembered who they were, rather than only for the tragedy that happened to them. Now let's continue. Confession and trial. Following his arrest, Huang confesses to killing the Zhang family during his dispute over gambling debts. On October 2nd, 1986, he was convicted on 10 counts of murder and sentenced to prison. While incorrected one attempted suicide multiple times. Actually, I'm not really surprised on that. I'm actually really not surprised on that, but I'm also kind of surprised like other people, like other murderers, like didn't try that. Cause yeah, on December 4th, 1986, he died after a suicide attempt. In a note, he claimed his decision was related to chronic asthma rather than remorse for his crimes. I think myth versus fact. One of the most widely repeated stories continued in this case is the claim that human remains were used in pork buns served at the restaurant. Yeah, I thought that too. This has never been substantialized by investigators. The rumor became internationally famous after 1993 Hong Kong filmed The Untold Story, which fictionalized several aspects of the case for dramatic effect. While researching historical crimes, it's important to distinguish verified evidence from later myths and popular culture impact. The Immortals restaurant murders remain one of the Macaroon's most famous criminal cases till this day. The investigation left a lasting impact on the community and had continued to be studied decades later because of the complexity of the investigation and many rumors that followed. For many people, this case served as a reminder of the importance of careful police work, responsible journalism, and preserving accurate historical records. Closing. The Immortals restaurant case is remembered not only because of the rumors that surrounded it, but because an entire family lost their lives. By separating verified facts from the urban legends, we can honor the victims with aspiracy and respect while better understanding the historical significance of the investigation. Thank you so much for spending part of your day here with me, Harper, Devil Hearts Podcast, and for other episodes with Eva and the old co-host Livy. Thank you for watching that, and we will see you soon in another one. If you found this episode informative, consider subscribing, sharing the podcast with someone who enjoys respectful research-based true crime, and following along for future episodes in our Asian true crime chapter. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and as always, take care of yourself and take care of others that are around you, and always be kind. So with that being said, Devil Hearts out. Bye bye. See you in the next episode.